Hi everyone, Rabbi Rosen here. I hope all is well with you. A few thoughts before Shabbat. First, happy Juneteenth to everybody. This is the holiday on the American calendar that recognizes the true end of the Civil War in many respects, news of the conflict coming to a conclusion, ultimately reaching Galveston, Texas, and the ultimate recognition of the emancipation of the slaves. We also have a Torah portion that has a connection with American history in this instance as well. We have a portion of Korach that describes a rebellion, much as there was an American rebellion against tyranny. And in this case, the Torah rebellion is really about a demagogue, somebody named Korach, who seizes the opportunity to argue forcefully and quite eloquently, all of the people are holy. Moses, you take much too much upon yourself. Why do you think that everything should be in your hands? It seems like a fairly reasonable argument until you come to realize that Korach really is a demagogue. He is the one who wants the power. He is the usurper, not Moses. And for that, he is ultimately punished, and his followers follow suit. But we don't see in the aftermath of that experience what we might expect to see. We don't find a condemnation in Torah or even later in Jewish history of any and all conflict. In fact, argumentation is something that is embraced by our tradition. We see it on every page of the Talmud. There is this sense that no single opinion is enough to cover the waterfront. Different perspectives, different encountering proposals are accepted, expected, and welcomed. We see that in Pirkei Avot, the way in which this is phrased is something that is incredibly positive. Kol machloket shehi l'shem shamayim, all arguments that are made for the sake of heaven, they will prevail. They will go on. They are not only fine, they are precious in many respects. However, if it's an argument that's not for the sake of heaven, in other words, if it's trivial, much like children arguing about the color of the truck they played with last week, only perhaps elevated a little bit, but not by much, into adult conversation. When we have those kinds of arguments for the purpose of winning, for the sake of winning a tiny point, for a gotcha moment, those arguments don't deserve to continue. But it is not that all arguments are bad. It's the nature of how we argue. And if they are for a shared purpose of making this world a little bit holier, a little bit more moral in so many respects, then that's an argument to be embraced. So when we go forth in our days, we should not be shunning all conflict, all arguments, but we should ask ourselves, for what purpose are we making this claim? For what purpose am I staking a place in the ground and saying, this is important, and I'm going to hold fast to it? If it's to make things better for everyone, for the world at large, then stand fast. If not, take a second look. That's a message of Torah. All the best to you. Have a Shabbat Shalom.